Do you know how ants relate to health and home organization? Ants, like the little
The
things
little
that creepy
creatures.
crawly. Uh-huh.
Um, yes, if you don't clean your house, they come in the house, and that makes you
They
sick.
do. I hate ants. Like they are right next to cockroaches for me. But ants is actually, it was Mr. Pareto who was studying ants and discovered a really interesting factoid about ants that 20% of the ants did 80% of the work.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Pareto discovered that not only was it with ants, but it spread far and wide. This whole 80-20 percentage, that 20% of our US roads carried 80% of our cars. That, I mean, it just, I mean, compound from there, you always hear about the 80-20 rule.
Right.
And so today, let's talk about the 80-20 rule as it pertains to home organization and physical health.
Love it. I've said it 1,000 times, and I'm going to continue to say it over and over and over, that you cannot outtrain a poor diet. Your health, your physical fitness is 80% what you shove in your face, and only 20% what you do with your arms and your legs.
My
So,
husband reminds me of that every time I go to the gym and I work out like super consistently and I don't see the progress that I want. He's like, well, you know that six packs are made in the kitchen,
yep,
not in the gym. I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
there are so many slogans like that. 6 packs are made in the kitchen. You can't outtrain a poor diet. There's one about you can't run faster than your fork or something like that.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that. Okay.
There's like a picture of a fork running.
Say that's meme worthy right there.
But really, that's so, it's everything. Your diet is everything. And I wish it weren't. I wish it were the other way. But unfortunately, I was not involved in the creation of the human body. I was not consulted.
Nobody asked me.
Nobody asked me how we should do it. And so our bodies just are what they are. And that's why I'm such a huge proponent of understanding that food is fuel for your body. And if you see it that way, you can make a lot better choices.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All of a sudden, it's not, should I cave into this craving? It's what is this food going to do for me? How is this
Mm-hmm.
going to make me feel? What is it going to fuel? And I mean, Heather, your big emphasis is those macros.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, what am I getting with my carbohydrates, my protein, and my healthy fats? How is this going to fit into the big puzzle?
Right.
It's so easy to think of it that way instead of
is.
counting calories and doing all that kind of stuff. If it's just, what are my numbers with my macros? How is this going to fuel my body?
And it's funny because people think of this macros being this new trend. And I actually just did a lot of research on it and totally geeked out on it. Do you know the very first diet conceptualized was in the 1600s?
Really?
1600s.
I did not know that.
I just wrote a blog about it. You should read it.
Yes. I know, it's in my inbox, actually.
But it's fascinating to me. So macro, if you're not familiar, is short for macronutrient, which if you took economics in college, there's macro and micro. Macro means big, micro means little, right?
Oh.
Macro machines, we never had those. We had micro machines. I'm really dating myself.
New $1 million moneymaker right there. Macro machines.
Macro machines. Yeah, they're called big wheels.
Right. Okay. Darn it.
But macro just means big. So you have 3 big categories that everything that you eat or drink falls into. And it's fat, carbohydrate, and protein. And I know you've probably heard those terms plenty of times. And so when you hear people talking about counting their macros or fitting in their macros, they're talking about juggling the percentage of their daily calories of one or more of those to outweigh the others. So that's really what the basics of it are. And that's where the science comes in and the understanding that food is fuel. Each of those burns differently. So if you need to go run a marathon, you need different fuel than if you're going to sit and watch a movie all afternoon.
Absolutely. And it's those pieces of the puzzle that once you understand how your body processes those and what your goal is, Are you running a marathon? Are you doing a triathlon? Are you in a bodybuilding competition? Are you a gymnast? Are you a soccer player? Are you, your body for different activities needs different amounts of different ratios of those macros. Are you trying to bulk up and put on weight? Are you trying to really slim down and lose weight? Are you trying to maintain your weight but get really cut? You know, those macros are going to tell you a story. They're those pieces of the puzzle. But if you can figure that out, and that's 80% of what you do and how you focus your mind, then the training for whatever you do is only 20%, which is awesome, because
way awesome.
Who really loves going to the gym and like shredding their muscles and hurting and sucking their way through it? Like, but I mean, in the moment, you're
in
like,
the moment, sometimes I know,
hate
honestly, for sure. There are definitely days where I'm like,
but it's like, for those sucky moments, for that's only 20% of everything that you have to do to get in shape if you understand your macros.
Right. Which it also backfires, right? There are people who go to the gym every single day and they work really hard, really consistently. But like you said, nothing changes. And then they can't figure it out and they get really frustrated. And so 80% of it is what you're eating. That's just, I don't make the rules.
Yeah.
They are. And that's really, it applies to even to exercise. You can apply it to exercise, that it's really 80% of what you do in the gym makes, it's not a huge difference. There's this 20% that you're doing that's making all the difference. And if you can fine tune that 20%, you get what you want.
It makes a big difference.
So,
and those same principles. Okay, so I've been doing a lot of talking about your side of the spectrum, but it also applies to home organization, in that most of the time when people think that they need to be organized, they go out and spend all of their time and money and effort buying bins and making things beautiful. That's the 20% side. The 80% side is decluttering. If you reduce the amount of stuff that you have to take care of, the organization just kind of falls into place. And then it's really easy to say, oh, well, all I need is a little bin to contain this stuff, because it's just kind of all over the place. But 80% of your home organization and your, the way that you feel in your home is decluttering to a point where you have only that which you need, and then some extras that make you happy.
Wouldn't you say it also applies to like the space of your home, where really you don't really use 80% of your house? There's 20% of your house that you live 80% of the time in. Duh, I was going to say 90. But you're always in,
you're always in
2 or 3 rooms, kitchen, and you may never walk into your spare bedroom more than once a month, and you may never, go down in your storage area very often. And so if maybe you just focus on that 20% of your house as your first bite off of the apple, and start organizing.
Absolutely. It is if you nail your kitchen, if you get your kitchen under control, the rest of the house feels pretty good most of the time. And then so figure out, okay, we do the most of our living, how old are your kids? Are they constantly in their toy room? So then tackle the kitchen and the toy room, because once the toy room explodes, like the rest of the house suffers for that.
And it tends to walk out of the toy room too.
It's
it
true.
tends to explode. There's like
so true.
But I'm trying to think. Extra casualties outside.
Yes.
The words, they're not coming. But
Collateral
anyway,
damage.
that's the word. Collateral damage. Collateral damage is the hallway leading up to the toy room. And then, it starts to creep down the stairs, and it's like just flows like lava out of the room.
So true.
So, but yeah, I think if you just focus on that 20% of your house that you spend the most time in, and I bet you could even go micro focus, even smaller, and look at your kitchen. Where do you spend 80% of your effort in your kitchen?
Yes.
It's not on the appliances that are gathering dust in the cupboard. It's probably on your main appliances. And so, start organizing that area around that so that it's easier to use that appliance. Or, the drawers that have the utensils that always get stuck.
Where you have to stick your fingers inside and try to flip the utensil
Somebody
so that you can actually
posted,
open the drawer?
was it you that we all keep a potato masher in our drawer just for the frustration of trying to open it all the
No,
time?
but that's hilarious. I need to find that.
I
It's
saw
so
a
true.
meme that said we all keep a potato masher in our drawer just for the pure joy of swearing at the drawer while you're trying to open it.
I have a spatula that does that it's
Uh-huh.
really bent.
Uh-huh.
And so, it's not like a flat one, but yeah, it's really bent, and I constantly, like, I should just replace it. But so, yeah, you look at the usage of your house. So if we understand that we need to spend 80% of our time decluttering and 20% of our time organizing, but then we go to the rooms in our house, okay, what are the rooms in which we spend 80% of our time? Then focus, it's usually that 20% of our
Right.
house where we spend 80% of our time. It's the kitchen, it's the toy room, it's, whatever other little space you utilize all the time. Then really niche down on what needs to happen in that space. And it's amazing that if I just, there are so many people that say, yeah, I don't go to bed with a dirty house. But I do. I will break that to you. I will go to bed with a messy house. But if I focus my efforts to tidy up that 20% room,
it doesn't feel so bad.
It doesn't feel so
Yeah.
bad the next day. And I don't care if my
Yeah.
kids keep a spotless bedroom. I know that's unrealistic.
Right.
But if I can tidy up the living room and the kitchen and the hallway that leads downstairs,
Yeah. So the first thing you see in the morning isn't a mess.
that's just it.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden it's kind of the same concept as, why do you make your bed in the morning?
Right.
It's just getting you off on the right foot.
Right.
It's just starting on the right foot. It doesn't really have any other, ramifications,
Mhm.
but it just psychologically starts you off on the right foot. So focus your time and your energies on 20% of the house in which you spend 80% of your time. And then all of a sudden it's
Right.
not so overwhelming.
Yeah.
And this whole concept and idea, it's like going to the
Mhm.
gym.
Mhm.
That can be really overwhelming for somebody who's just starting or who's really wanting to make a difference. To spend 80% of my time in the gym is really overwhelming, but spending 20% of my time focusing on that same
Well, and if
thing.
you think
we
about
spend 20% of
eating
our time.
too,
Mhm.
if you just focused on the 20% of your main meals where you get most calories, 80% of your calories come from the 20% of your meals. So, maybe you just focus on that. And
Yeah.
that's where you start to dial in exactly what your body needs and doesn't need just in those meals. And then the rest kind of follows, just
Yeah.
like the rest of the house kind of follows. You start to get the hang of making dinner with the proper balance of macronutrients that you need for your body. And then maybe it trickles to lunch because that gets easier. And then it trickles to breakfast, and then it trickles to snacks. But you just start on the, that main part. It seems like a big chunk, but really if you look at your whole day, one meal out of 7 days and 3 meals and however many snacks, that's not a big chunk
No.
to focus on. And if you just dial in on one and then allow it to kind of ripple out,
Yeah.
you start to feel a little bit less anxiety, a little bit less stress, and a little bit more control.
Oh, it's absolutely. And then all of a sudden it's manageable.
Mm-hmm.
And then we actually want to do it and we want to see the difference. And then when we see that success,
Mm-hmm.
we can go, oh, this is making a difference. And then it can have that trickle
and you
down,
can
that
go,
ripple.
oh, look how great my kitchen works now that I've laid everything out and I've organized it to where it makes sense. Now that I've done that, now I feel confident that I can tackle the bathroom or
Yep.
I can tackle the toy room or whatever.
Yep. Well, and even, okay, look at the rest of the kitchen. If I am sticking to a macro program
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to be focusing on baking because I want to get away from the fried foods and I want to, so just for the sake of this conversation, we're going to focus on baking.
Mm-hmm.
And I pull everything into my baking area and then I declutter everything that doesn't belong in the baking area.
Yeah.
Then I am very, very confident that I have everything that I need right here to both satisfy my need for an organized kitchen because we decluttered first.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled everything that I needed and then I decluttered and then I can put
Right.
it away where I need to put it. Now I'm decluttered, I'm getting organized, and it's going to help support my choices for baking instead of frying, microwaving, whatever else. And then I feel confident once I have that, okay, 80% of the time I'm going to be baking. and this is now set and ready to go. Now I can focus on, hey, the rest of the kitchen is just kind of an afterthought, but I feel confident that, hey, I don't need the rest of this stuff in this area, so I can either put it away where it really actually belongs,
Or just get
or
rid of it.
I
Yeah.
can get rid of it because I know I'm not going to use it.
I think a lot of people too hesitate to cook or prep food or, you know, any of that because the idea of rounding up all the tools, rounding up the proper appliances or whatever, you know, right now what's coming to mind is I make a lot of those protein balls.
Yes.
And so I use my mixer all the time. And if I had to root through drawers to find the proper attachment, and I had to pull the mixer out of the closet or out of the cupboard or out of the storage because it's not readily available, I may be less likely to start prepping that stuff because then I have to like go downstairs and dig it out of the closet, and then I got to find the attachments, and then I got to find the ingredients, and you know, and should be a 20 or 30 minute start to finish, including cleanup thing, turns into an hour. And then it's like, well, I don't have time for that.
Why? Who would?
And so then you start going, well, I guess I don't have time for that. I'll just run into Maverick.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And we go for the easiest way out.
Yep.
So 80-20 rule can be seen in so many different lights, in so many different ways, but it's real and it works. So if you focus 80% of your energy on the stuff that doesn't matter, but you really hone in, and this 20% is everything. This 20% is massive. This 20% is everything that you need to focus on. It's one meal that gives you the most macros. It's one area of your house that's going to keep you the most organized. So focus on the 20%, and the rest of the 80%, you can relax.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's not so intense that you lose interest or there's no way that I can keep this up.
Yeah.
If you go super intense with 20% of your area, 20% of your health, 20% of your meals, then all of a sudden you start seeing 80% results.
Yep.
Out of 20% of your efforts.
That's awesome, right?
That's dang awesome. Like, let's do that.
Yeah,
I want to do that. So
that's why I created my Master Your Macros program, which I just launched.
Yes.
Doors are already closed, so you can't join right now. But that's what they're learning. And that was the design of the program, was to help you break it down into bite-sized pieces, pun intended, so that you can begin to take control of your body and your eating habits and really learn to dial it in as fuel for your body as opposed to just food. And they're learning that, and they're only a few weeks in right now, and they're already feeling so much more confident of understanding what their body needs and when they need it and what their body doesn't need.
Awesome.
That's a lot of it is unlearning.
So things. How long is the program?
The program is
a
monthly program, indefinitely. But the membership is only available once every few months. So doors will open again in a couple of months. So you have to stay tuned for that. But yeah, so stay tuned. But when I open the doors, I only open it for about a week because I don't want it to get so overwhelmed with people that I can't individually help.
Yes.
Absolutely. And so we're trying to keep it pretty small so that it's personal. Really, and it's a community that they're all connecting with each other and they're learning from each other and they're going, oh, you struggle with that? I struggle with that too. Oh, how are you handling it? So it's creating a great opportunity for them to just really find some people that can empathize with their situation.
Nobody needs empathy. But don't we all need empathy?
Yeah.
Don't we all need somebody to say, hey, it's okay, I've been there, done that, and this is how I overcame it. Have you thought about doing that?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. So I'll let you know when the doors open again.
Do. Yay.
It's probably going to be in the fall.
Okay. Dun, dun, dun. So homework for the listeners on your end. How would they focus besides staying tuned for, when you open the program again?
Really understanding that every bite, I don't remember if I've said it on here, but it's the bites, tastes, licks, and sips that tank you. And if you start just paying attention to that.
That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah. Isn't that nice?
I need to
I didn't make it up. I wish I could claim that. But
Post-it notes all over the house.
Yeah. But really that's, if your diet is 80% of your health, let's not even talk about like being a certain shape or size. it's 80% of your health. So if for nothing else, just pay attention to what you're eating because it's good for you so you don't die.
That's a good step in the right direction.
Just don't die.
Don't die.
There's actually a book, How Not to Die.
How Not to Die.
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah, I've read it. It's great.
And same for home organization. If you can identify the area of your home that in which you spend 80% of your time, then focus on 80% decluttering in that space, because then you will boost the organization of that space, the most, the buying, the money spent, the thinking about how am I going to piece this all together, the Tetrising that has to happen, is only 20% of that. And it's really easy to focus that, 20% really intense energy on maintaining that one space.
Yeah.
So focus on decluttering after you figure out what that space is in which you spend 80% of your
There
time.
you go. Piece of cake. Keep us posted. Let us know if this message resonated with you. Please share it with your friends and family. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like it. And don't forget to let us know what you liked about it, if you applied it, how you applied it. We are dying to know.
We'll see you next time.